Hello, friends. How are you? Hey, I'm coming at you with something that absolutely no one needs. Yes, it's a very short commentary on Bad Bunny and his halftime show. I realize, like, everyone has spoken about it, and there's not a whole lot more to say, frankly. But I did want to tell you a story that happened to me on Monday. So there's, you know, place here in Dallas, Texas that I visit almost every day where men gather, smoke cigars, have a couple of drinks. And I was conversing with a friend of mine who is my guitar teacher, but an actual real life professional musician. That's all he does. And we were discussing Bad Bunny's performance, but more in line with discussing the names of the different rhythms that were represented in the songs. Like he was technically educating me a bit more on the Latin rhythms. And this is not a Latin guy. A few minutes later, let's say a guy named John walks in, sits next to another guy, and completely unprompted, I really don't think that he could hear what we were talking about, but said, "This Bad Bunny, this Puerto Rican asshole degenerate, have you guys read what he sang in the Super Bowl last night?" So thank goodness to advice that I've heard before. I went to the restroom, took a breath, and came back. Before I continue, I have to admit something. And I was not a Bad Bunny fan. I've never been a Bad Bunny fan until a friend of mine, Angela, out in Miami, we exchanged, uh, thoughts on a number of different subjects on social media. And I know that she knew that I was like, let's say, a Springsteen or a U2 fan, but that I wasn't a Bad Bunny fan. And she really, really had me listen to this last album and give it an honest chance. I gave it an honest chance. And yeah, there's a number of songs that I really actually enjoyed on there. And I was looking forward to this halftime show. Okay, now and Angela, you still owe me the homework because I know I sent you an encyclopedic list of Springsteen songs that I love for you to take a listen to. So I still expect that. Now, I come back from taking my breather and I say, "Hey, John, can you tell me which lyrics you find objectionable that Bad Bunny sang in last night's performance?" And he's reading off a website and he's reading a translation that all he is saying is filth, and it's like every curse word anyone has ever learned in the history of the English language. And had to honestly say, I'm not a huge Bad Bunny fan. I'm not the expert, but I can assure you, I've watched that performance twice through. And I can assure you, everything you are reading is an absolute lie and falsehood. Send me the website. I'd love to take a look at it. And his first question was, "Well, how do you even know what he's saying?" And that's, when I had to take a step back and say, maybe I shouldn't respond. I see what's happening. And of course, I didn't do that. No, I'm like, because I dream, think, speak, write in Spanish, pray in Spanish. I've watched that performance, and I can assure you, even in my rudimentary level 2 Duolingo Italian, Bad Bunny said none of the things that you are so currently indignant about. And it, it apparently that came across as I'm lying. So I offered a bet. I offered a wager to bring in a third party. It's so stupid. Bring in a third party translator. We can live translate it together for $2,000. And that's when the conversation broke down. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I'm like, I understand, but you brought it up. Nobody was talking to you about it. Send me the website. I'd just love to take a look at it. Allow me to fact check you, perhaps. No, I don't want to talk about it. And he was just, there was such a level of anger that it's almost inexplicable. Like you're complaining about lyrics you can't even understand. And then you're confronting someone who you've known for quite a while. And the fact that I speak Spanish. And he was just like, and then he made a declaration of, you know what, you're just trying to debate. You're just, it's because of this or this political idea. And my friend stepped in and it was just so funny because he said, you know what, man, just shut up. You've like exposed yourself. You've clearly proven that you have no clue what you are talking about and you've been left without a leg to stand on. And it was just funny. But the funniest part is this. Why is it yesterday, me and my friend, my guitar teacher, we sit down and see ourselves again after that interaction. Why is it that when we first saw each other, the first thing out of our mouths is, man, I feel bad. Did we go too hard? Did we go too hard? What is it? Why do I have to feel bad about correcting a guy who was clearly coming from a space of victimization, of just kind of sad anger? Yet he and I were like, you know what? Maybe we were just a little too rough. And I thought about it again. And it's like, no, we're not being too rough. It's fine. So I think you're going to be hearing, like, why do we need to be? Is there so much news behind this halftime show? And yeah, unfortunately, it's going to continue growing. And so all I want to say is, I encourage any of you who do speak Spanish, who are or are not a Bad Bunny fan, stand up for intelligence, stand up to lies and misinformation. Look up the lyrics, watch the show again, translate it yourself, and you'll see that the things that are out there right now are untrue, and it's okay to push back. Seriously, I'll forgive you. If you have to be a little mean, you're a little mean, but just be honest, because what else do you have? Just be honest.